This is Focus on Africa from BBC World News. I'm Sophie Ikenye. Our top stories. Protecting the investors, Uganda orders police to watch over Chinese-owned factories. Speeding through Morocco as Africa's first ever high-speed train line launches, some are asking if it's worth the cost. Can artificial intelligence weed out fake news? Tech experts spent a solid 24 hours in Nairobi trying to work out how. Also in the program, beating Afrobeats. Just how difficult is it to find success in the music industry as a reggae dancehall musician? We spoke to Nigerian star Pato Ranking to find out.
Nigeria is not really a reggae dancehall country, so it was quite difficult to break out.
And in sports, South Africa's Kevin Anderson gets set to take on Roger Federer in the group stage of the ATP Finals. Thank you for joining us on Focus on Africa from BBC World News. We begin in Uganda, where Chinese companies are to be protected by police. President Yoweri Museveni has ordered an operation to protect the businesses in the country. It follows a meeting he held with over 120 Chinese investors who say that some of their factories have suffered a spate of robberies. The BBC's Catherine Biaruhanga reports from Kampala.
Chinese businesses are a powerful lobby group in Uganda, and they've demonstrated this by organising and convincing President Yoweri Museveni to offer them extra security. In the last few years, there's been a general feeling that violent crime is on the rise in Uganda. Now, this has morphed into attacks on Chinese factories and plants. Mrs. Fang Min has lived in Uganda for 30 years and owns a hospitality business. She was at the meeting with the president on Wednesday evening.
A lot of Chinese open a factory.
A lot of Chinese people open factories outside of Kampala. So in the evenings, sometimes people come with guns. 7, 8, even 10 people, they come with guns. It gives the factory a lot of problems. Sometimes people are killed in the factory, and if they aren't killed, their money is taken.
The big question from Ugandan business owners is why are the Chinese getting special treatment? They say their businesses are being attacked as well. The army argues that their deployments will benefit everyone. Like many parts of the continent, the Chinese are key to the economy here. They're invested in 2 major hydropower projects on the River Nile. They're involved in the expansion of Entebbe International Airport and have been key to the rebuilding of much of the country's road networks. Catherine Biaruhanga, BBC News, Kampala.
Well, joining us now from Kampala is a spokesperson for the Ugandan police force, Emilian Kayima. Thank you for taking time to talk to us on Focus on Africa. You've heard there that Ugandans' main question is, why is this protection being given specifically to Chinese business people?
All business entities and businessmen and women are given due attention, particularly those that have faced this kind of criminality. The special treatment that you have seen, that you have heard about the Chinese, is that them as a community organized and they shared their concerns with the security, with the president, and so it comes out louder than the others. But truth be told, we give protection to all business people, to all Ugandans, and we do this with a focus to where crime has occurred.
Mr. Kayima, let me just step in here, because I wonder whether the experiences by the Chinese businesses are any different from the Ugandan businesses, really, and are they lying when they say this is preferential treatment?
They're not lying. There have been a series of attacks in their premises, in the industries where they do business, and they are right to be afraid of these attacks and the thefts. And so the attention that we are giving them is in tandem to the kind of criminality that they have faced.
Are you,
but this does not mean...
Are you saying that the local businesses there don't experience the same thing the Chinese investors do?
Some do, but when you study the trends, it looks like this is a concerted attack on the Chinese. But the protection is for all. And the guidance that we have to provide security for all business entities includes all investors, all business people, local, national, and international business persons.
All right, Ugandan police spokesperson Emilian Kayima, thank you very much indeed for taking time to talk to us and Focus on Africa. Thank you. Well, let's now take a quick look at other stories making the headlines across Africa and the rest of the world. Gabon has changed its constitution to allow the vice president or prime minister to run cabinet meetings if the president is unavailable. And the move comes as President Ali Bongo is in hospital in Saudi Arabia. The opposition says the change is illegal. Tanzania could lose almost $10 million of aid from Denmark after Danish officials criticized unacceptable homophobic comments from an unnamed senior politician. Last month, Paul Makonda, commissioner for the commercial capital Dar es Salaam, called on the public to report suspected gay men to the police. Suspected Boko Haram insurgents have reportedly attacked and razed down another community in Borno State, northeast Nigeria. An aid agency official confirmed to the BBC that at least 200 houses were burned on Wednesday night when the insurgents invaded Mamanti village on the outskirts of Maiduguri. Now, Morocco has unveiled Africa's first ever high-speed train line. The $2.4 billion project was launched 7 years ago and is funded by France together with several Arab countries. King Mohammed VI inaugurated the line together with French President Emmanuel Macron. It will link Casablanca with the northern port of Tangier via the capital Rabat. Now, the project, however, has received a mixed reaction. Afonso Daniels reports.
It has been billed as a historic milestone for Morocco. The journey time between the North Africa's economic hubs of Casablanca and Tangier will be slashed to just 2 hours from nearly 5. Millions of passengers are expected to use this line every year, and the trains will travel up to 320 kilometers per hour, faster than any other train in Africa. The project was inaugurated by King Mohammed VI, who invited French President Emmanuel Macron to join him on board. Funding has come from France and several Arab states, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates. The 12 high-speed trains were made by French train manufacturer Alstom. But some people are questioning spending more than $2 billion on this project, while the country suffers from a lack of investment in health and education. Morocco is also grappling with high unemployment rates, especially among the young. More than a quarter of people aged between 15 and 24 do not have jobs, and many are joining the exodus of sub-Saharan Africans trying to migrate to Europe. Still, the Moroccan government sees the high-speed train as a major development hallmark, part of its strategy to encourage foreign investment.
Afonso Daniel there reporting. For more on this, let's speak to Omar El Ahiani. He's a member of the Stop TGV Association. Thanks for taking time to talk to us. You have a problem, you have an issue with this line. What is it exactly?
Yeah, we still consider that in Morocco it's a very expensive project for the size of the country of Morocco. It's a project that cost Morocco more than 2 billion euros. And we consider that there are other priorities in Morocco, especially in health and education. We made some calculation and estimated that for this cost, we can build up to 20 big hospitals in Morocco. We only have 6 or 7 hospitals that have been built since the independence of Morocco 60 years ago. We also calculated that for each 10 meters of this TGV line, high-speed train line, you can build a small school in the rural areas. So what's the point into building 350 kilometers per hour train line when major part of the population still have no access to...
Well, the argument, let me come in here. The argument by the government is that this will bring in investment.
I mean, we're not even sure about this. Casablanca and Tangier, for example, are already connected by air, direct lines by air, actually. Of course, the region of Tangier has a lot of economical projects that need to be connected with Casablanca, but still, even if that money had to be invested in rail, we consider that could be invested into upgrading the actual rail and make trains run for a speed of up to 200 kilometers per hour, instead of this technology, which is very costly.
Are you saying there's absolutely nothing, no benefit in this rail at all?
We still don't see these benefits. I mean, gaining 3 hours of on the trip between Casablanca and Tangier might be useful for a small portion of the population, but for a huge part of Moroccan population, accessing this train will not be affordable for most of them. All
right. Omar El Hayani, thank you very much indeed for taking time to talk to us on the program. Thank you. Well, let's now bring you some breaking news. The United Nations says 7 peacekeepers have been killed and 10 others wounded in an attack in the Democratic Republic of Congo. That news just coming in to us. 7 peacekeepers killed in the Democratic Republic of Congo. This is Focus on Africa from BBC World News. Still to come, sports. We shine the spotlight on some of this weekend's qualifiers for the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations. Peter will be here with the details. I'm Sophie Ikenye, and you're watching Focus on Africa from BBC World News. The top stories on this program: Uganda has ordered its police to watch over the Chinese-owned factories after the president met with investors. Africa's first ever high-speed train line has launched in Morocco, but some are asking if it's worth the cost. Now, all this week we've been looking at the issue of fake news. More and more technology and artificial intelligence is being used to weed out the fiction from the fact. In Nairobi, a full 24 hours solid have been dedicated to finding concrete software solutions. The BBC's Georgie Ndirango went to find out more.
Hear that? That gong signifies the beginning of 24 hours of hacking. Wish you could be in the room and feel the mood as techies rush to find ways to use technology to fight fake news. This is what is known as a hackathon.
A hackathon is an event that brings together software developers, designers, and domain experts to solve for a certain problem. In our case today, we have 50 hackers in the room.
These hackers hope to solve the issue of fake news across the platforms we use most for communication. In Africa, according to independent fact-checkers, misinformation across Facebook and WhatsApp is the biggest problem.
Last year in the 2017 general election, both the first and the rerun in Kenya, what we saw was platforms such as WhatsApp. We had instances of mainstream global media houses seeing their actual video and reporting interfered with. We had videos that had the lower third actually changed. We had the audio track actually changed to support one of the different political parties.
Knowing this, some of the techies then explained to us how they plan to use advanced technologies to fight the spread of misinformation.
You learn on the job. One of the activities that's going to be involved will be looking from past events and identifying how does a normal human identify the fake news. So from that, the system will have to learn to a point whereby now it can be intelligent enough for it to detect this is what is fake news and this is real and this is not.
The winning ideas included spotting fake news through analysis of image and text, as well as a system that allows the public to vote.
Well, the spread of falsehood isn't just limited to the world of news. The sale of fake and potentially dangerous pharmaceuticals in Kenya has seen a rise because of misinformation regarding miracle cures and wonder drugs. David Wafula reports.
Fake drugs are now a $30 billion worldwide industry. In Kenya, it is estimated that 30% of all medicines sold are counterfeit or substandard.
If you put two medicines here in front of me, even I as a professional, as a pharmacist, as a trained pharmacist, as a registered pharmacist, I may not be able to tell you the difference.
The Pharmacy and Poisons Board are the government regulator responsible for ensuring that only safe medicines are sold in Kenya. But rather than closing down illegal pharmacies, they are accused of allowing them to keep trading as long as they pay a backhander.
These guys of the pharmacies and the poisons board, when they arrest you, they will just harass you and they will demand like 50,000 to 100,000.
They start harassing you to cost out some bribes, and it's a lot of money.
But I've also heard allegations that Pharmacy and Poisons Board are facilitating the illegal importation of fake medicines.
You have about 3 officials at very senior levels within the Pharmacy and Poisons Board who will sign an import declaration form. The amount of money that will be changing hands for such a signature or stamp will be upward of 20,000 US dollars.
Around 20,000 US dollars.
The Pharmacy and Poisons Board agreed to grant me an interview.
Can you defend that there is no corruption at the points of entries?
Such allegations, I think it will be good to pass them through the management.
You are the management. Are you not management?
Frustrated by Dr. Christabel's inability to give a clear answer, my producer tried a more direct approach.
There are well-reported allegations that you have not been able to do that.
As I said, I'm not able to answer that.
But who is? Who is able to answer that?
We followed up with numerous emails asking to be put in touch with the department which might be able to answer our questions, but have received no response. The very people in charge of protecting us from fake medicines are accused of being one of the worst offenders, and until there are changes, Kenyans will continue to play the healthcare lottery with their lives. David Wafula, BBC News.
You're watching BBC Focus on Africa. Time now for the sport.
Many thanks, Sophie. And in just over an hour, 2 tennis greats will take to the courts. Yes, it's South Africa's Kevin Anderson versus Roger Federer, whose mother, by the way, is also South African, in their match of the ATP finals here in London. Victory will see Anderson qualify for the last 4, but for Federer, it's a more complicated process. He says he's expecting a tough game.
If I don't pass, I don't pass, and I deserve not to pass. But important for me is to play a good last match here in the round robin, you know, and try to beat Kevin. He's been playing great, had a wonderful season. He played great against me as well at Wimbledon.
Football now, and police in Algeria are under investigation following social media images of officers allegedly attacking football fans after a First Division match on Tuesday. Trouble fled when a section of fans of Mouloudia Club d'Alger reacted angrily to their team's 1-0 home defeat to USM Bel Abbès. The MCA fans tore up plastic seats in the stands and threw them onto the field and at the police. A total of 40 people, including 18 police officers, were injured. Reports say English Premier League side Chelsea faced the threat of a 2-year transfer ban following a FIFA investigation into their signing of foreign under-18 players, including striker Bertrand Traoré. Burkina Faso international Traoré, who now plays for Ligue 1 club Lyon, signed his first professional contract at Chelsea in 2013 at the age of 18, but wasn't registered till January 2014. FIFA bans the transfer of under-18s to different countries unless they meet strict criteria. Now, it's match day 5 in the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying fixtures this weekend, with 3 matches being played this Friday. Burundi could take over the leadership of Group C even temporarily if they can get a victory over South Sudan in Juba. The South Sudanese have lost all their 4 games so far. Both Egypt and Tunisia have already qualified, and the race is now to see who tops Group J. They both clash in Alexandria, and Cameroon, who are hosts of the tournament, are away to victory to Morocco, who could seal qualification with a victory. Now, Libya take on the Seychelles in their Group E qualification match on Saturday. The North Africans sit third in Group E on 4 points, 5 behind leaders Nigeria and 4 behind second-placed South Africa. Their preparations have not been ideal, as they have had to train outside their country due to security concerns within. Mostly, they have used Tunisia as a training base, and National Team Managing Director Salem Sula believes they would have done better if they were playing at home.
I say this honestly.
The fact that we don't compete on home soil is a huge problem for us. If we could officially play on our pitches in Libya, we could have been at the top of this group. But as you know, the political circumstances influences us directly, and especially when we play outside Libya.
Well, on Sunday, Algeria traveled to Togo for their Group D clash. The Desert Foxes topped that group on goals difference. Head coach Jamel Belmadi has opted to leave several players out of his squad after they lost 1-0 to Benin last month. But Abderrahmane Meziane and Oussama Chita will be featuring against Togo for their debut in the national team. Belmadi believes his side are guaranteed qualification if they beat Togo on Sunday.
Elle peut être décisive, c'est vrai que si on gagne, on est qualifié. Ça fait 3 ans qu'on n'a pas gagné en Afrique.
The match will be decisive. We are guaranteed qualification if we win. Our last victory in Africa was 3 years ago. It's such a challenge and a motivation for us to get a victory over Togo. That's what we have to aim for to continue our progress. We should go there to win.
You know how I love football, so it's going to be a very enjoyable weekend.
A very enjoyable weekend, and actually season, isn't it? Coming up.
It's not bad. It's not bad. You still haven't told me what team you support in the Premier League. I mean,
don't put me on the spot. Thank you for the sport. Right, now, Patrick Okorie, better known by his stage name Pato Ranking, is an award-winning Nigerian reggae dancehall singer and songwriter with over 150 million views of his videos online. Pato Ranking recently spoke to us about breaking into the Nigerian music industry as a reggae dancehall musician.
What's making money was the plan. I'm gonna go get
I am a musician because most of the times I just want to pass the message, you know, and if I want to speak to my people in Lagos or my people in Nigeria and I want to give them advice, I sing in pidgin. So the listeners are not limited, you know, and if I want to get the people, my fans outside the country, you know, if I want to get them dancing, you know, I do the dancehall Pato Ranking. Though I'm a reggae dancehall artist, you know, but at this point I like to see myself as a musician. For my genre of music in my own country, I would say is about 1% of out of 100 in the music industry. You know, Nigeria is not really a reggae dancehall country. So it was quite difficult to break out, you know, because I came out at a point where the songs that were played in the club were like 120 BPM. I'm talking about the tempo of the songs. You know, pacey songs were the songs then. Yo, my first break was in 2013 when I dropped Alubarika featuring Timaya. You know, that was the song that changed everything for me. Coming from the ghetto, I would say me leaving the ghetto wasn't just talent, you know. Hunger was part of it, you know, and the only option I had in the ghetto was making it. You know, I can't tell myself that, yo, I can't make it because the situation I was is not making it. I've always wanted to be the voice of the voiceless. So that is why when I want to make music, I just go back to the ghetto in my head.
Interesting Pato Ranking there. Before we go, a quick look at our top story today on Focus on Africa. Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni has ordered a police operation to protect Chinese companies following a spate of robberies in the country. Well, don't forget, you can get in touch with me and some of the team on Twitter. I'm @CKenya. But for now, thank you for your company. Bye.